Hey listeners, Dan Harris here, host of the 10% Happier podcast. Imagine all your audio entertainment available in just one place. That's what the Audible app is all about. With Audible, you can always find the best of what you love or discover something new. Audible has an incredible selection of wellness titles and originals like The Light Podcast by Michelle Obama, Work It Out by Mel Robbins, and Confidence Gap by Russ Harris. Membership includes access to Audible Originals, podcasts, and tons of audiobooks that you can download or stream as much as you want. And as an Audible member, you can choose one title per month from an ever-growing catalog of titles to keep. The Audible app makes it easy to listen anytime, anywhere, whether you're traveling, working out, doing chores, wherever your day takes you. New members can try Audible now free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/Harris or text Harris to 500-500.
This episode is brought to you by Vital Farms. No matter how you like your eggs, scrambled, over easy, or sunny side up, the people at Vital Farms believe in one thing: keeping it bullshit-free. That's why their pasture-raised eggs come from hens who each have over 108 square feet of space to roam and forage all year round. So you can spend less time questioning your food and more time enjoying it. Look for the Black Vital Farms carton in your grocery store and learn more at vitalfarms.com. Vital Farms. Keeping it bullshit-free.
Don't sing. Don't do it.
Dreaming of a white Christmas. Like Barry, was it Barry
White? No, you don't.
I'm dreaming of a white.
No, you sound like White Tom.
How about what's the other one? Grandma got run over by
That's
a
true.
reindeer.
That sounds very Canadian, actually. Did you have Santa Claus in Canada?
Yes, we had
Papa Noel.
Santa Claus. I used to. Remember you believed in Santa Claus when you were a kid too? Did you?
I still believe in Santa Claus, Tom.
Yeah, I bet I said that the wrong way. Absolutely, yes.
Never stop, because
I never. I don't decorate now that my sons have grown, so I've got dancing Santa down in my living room. That's a tradition. So
wow, you don't decorate anything. I mean,
see, you said this. You're not paying attention. There's artwork all over the place.
no, there's a picture of yourself in a Ranger uniform. That's fine. And
there's
your two jerseys. That's
two
cool.
jerseys. And downstairs, there's several non-hockey.
There's a saddle. It's an actual saddle, and your dad's fire helmet, which is kind of cool. But downstairs is some.
There's all kinds of stuff. It's a family picture. So in Canada now, they have assisted suicide. It's legal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So he's my ex-brother-in-law now. I guess he's still my brother-in-law, but he's not alive anymore. He was put down by my sister.
That's
the assassin.
Okay, so
he'd had a stroke, and obviously there was infection from the stroke, and then they decided, well, that's
her decision to make. Do they have kids?
They have a daughter. Yes, same age as my oldest son Shane.
So how does that work? Did you put that in your will that you're okay with euthanasia?
I think it's one of those decisions. I don't think you do. I believe there's a whole panel of doctors and everything you have to go in front of.
Oh, the famous death panel they talked about in the election a few years ago.
But I should be careful too. My sister and I don't speak to each other anymore. Some issues happened when my father passed away.
So your sister, but they made the choice to, and your husband, her husband's.
They put him down.
Yeah, that's a way of putting it.
But I just like modern medicine. Who knows? He could have recovered.
I always think just hold out for as long as you can. Great way to start the show, though, Tom. Way to crazy energy.
It's terrible to say it like this, but I think it's kind of like you'd like to really delve into the logic behind that and everything too, right?
So you're saying that Shane and Cody could just pull the plug on you if you get your mess?
I definitely told him. I said, I told him. I said, listen, if it comes to that, if I'm wandering around like wearing a diaper or something like that,
I don't know. I think you'd change your mind if you were.
Nope, no way. No, I'm not walking around like that.
Are you going to donate what's left of your brain to science or to?
I think you'd get rejected, wouldn't it?
You'd be the first one in history. Send it back.
That'd be interesting. I should do that though. With all the concussions I've had, I should donate my brain. There's a player that they went to Calgary, just got traded there. Jonathan Huberdeau.
Huberdeau, yeah.
And he right away pledged his brain.
I mean, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, I know. Good point.
Yeah.
So you're going to look at my brain and go, how did he survive? Like, what?
Right. Like, what is this thing?
Yeah. This is just not where the brain is supposed to be.
So speaking of brain, the Rangers are on a nice little run out west. We watched them
use the brain. I missed. I didn't see the game last night, but I've seen the results and everything. Yeah, they played well.
3 in a row.
Quick getting the shutout and everything.
Quick playing well. He was horrible in preseason, playing great. Lafreniere scored 3 goals this year. People are they're off the ledge on that one.
Right. You know, how about Kreider as a manager?
Kreider's got 5 goals. He's doing well. Vantage, I don't think has scored yet, but he's got a lot of assists. But they're just playing very well. They're playing 60-minute games, and they look good.
Yeah. It's weird, too, because you think, so 2 years ago in the playoff, man, they were fantastic. I thought.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, fighting back, the series and the game. Then last year in the playoffs, like, what happened to this team?
They just folded.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a room. Maybe it was the coach. Who knows?
Yeah, we've talked before about the whole effect of Kane coming in, and again, great guy, but he was hurt and he had to play him in the top 6. Same thing with Tarasenko. Now, those 2 players that were in those top 6 roles are now being pushed back down.
Sure.
Was that an effect on people?
Yeah, I don't know. I think now that they got Laffin, Kakko, and Hedel on the top 6, they were handed top 6 minutes. It's like you're important, and they're coming through. So I'm happy with that. Bigger news though is across the river, Jack Hughes is on fire.
Oh yeah,
leading the league in scoring. He's an absolute stud.
Somebody contacted me the other day. They were listening to a radio show where somebody said that Jack Hughes looked like a young Tom Laidlaw. And at first I thought, like the way he plays.
Really?
It was the looks. They said, well, he looked the face. Yeah.
No, I don't. He looks like he's 15 years old.
Yeah, I came in when I was Fu Manchu going thinking I was like the coolest guy on the planet.
He looks like a kid. I mean, and listen, that's taking nothing away from him. He's a phenomenal hockey player.
He does look young though, doesn't he?
Yeah. He looks so young. Yeah. He looks like he could be in high school still.
They all do. All the Hughes boys are like that too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the one Quinn Hughes looks exactly like the producer of Spin Chicklets, Mike Grinnell. He could be a dead ringer for him. Yeah, and then Luke Hughes is a good defenseman too. That's what a family.
I know. How does that happen? Right, that they're all that good.
They're just very good. Maybe they need to be more Laidlaws.
No kidding. My sister was actually she really got into singing, like all the opera and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
She'd be singing. She'd put the headphones on and listen to the music, and then she'd be singing.
You're just harsh today, man.
It's like I'm reflecting back on my life, my childhood, and why I am the way I am. I'm writing the book and everything, so now discovering myself.
No, but still, like, there's no need for that now. You know,
my sister singing.
Yeah, you don't need to trash your sister singing.
I think I just said she sang. I don't think I said that.
You said, "Ooh, wow, ooh."
Well, it was the style of singing. Like I was the country western guy, and she's singing opera.
Well, you've heard yourself sing on this show, right?
Oh, good, right?
Really
good.
Shouldn't be
good, right?
I don't know if good is the word.
Good is the word.
I mean, good is a word, but I don't think it's the word.
It is amazing, right? So people, when they come into the show, they think to themselves, okay, this is a like mental health, hockey, entertainment. And then they also get like the impressions that I do, singing that I do.
I think people are like, what?
The fact that they don't see the visual.
No, I think people should say he should stop.
Is that one of the guys from the Four Tenors?
Hey, you know what? If you're listening to this, especially our listeners in Finland, because thank you for supporting the show, you could email us at fullchangepodcast@gmail.com if you have any comments or want to hear anything on the show. You want to hear Tom sing more?
Yes, if you want me to do more impressions, get me people that you want me to impersonate. Like I could impersonate Railroad Slane, for example, in Finland.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so we first got here. Okay, here's my impersonation.
I see. He didn't talk. Oh, I see. See, that's clever. Not only do you do impressions, you do comedy.
There you go.
Wow.
Yes. We should do our own comedy show. But we should do what people are suggesting.
Let's hear it.
That we do a show like talking about relationships, like my version of like how to have relationships.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
right?
God.
Wouldn't that be a funny show, though? Because you listen to a lot of, I've told people this before, too, where, Tom now and I've got to be good friends. So in between shows where we're waiting for a guest, let's talk about personal relationships, how he's got a fantastic wife, family. And I talk about some of my relationships. Now, I've always been blaming the women all the time that it's all their fault.
No, it's you.
Oh, no, but Tom said, what's funny was all of a sudden one day, he says to me, Tom, I think this is how you said it, what is the common denominator in all these relationships? And I really didn't get it at first. And I was like, what are you talking about? And it's you idiot.
It's the mirror.
Oh, God. And I went through that period of time where now I was going to be this thoughtful guy, making myself vulnerable, telling my feelings and everything.
Right. Yeah, that didn't work for you so well. I mean, you gave it a try, though, so good for you. You got out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're getting Johnny Ogrodnick on here, and I want to make sure that we're recording all this.
Yes.
These are classic when we get guys who are a little bit older and aren't technically savvy.
You're a little bit older.
But I'm technically savvy.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Savvy.
You're still a one-finger typer, though.
Yeah, but see what I said? Savvy. Johnny O, how are you?
I'm good, Tommy. How are you doing, bud?
You got the great Johnny O. So Johnny O was running, like back when we played, most guys would carry around a 6-pack of beer, and John he'd have a briefcase with him. It's a little bit more intelligent.
Well, that's a low bar, Tom.
Yeah.
Knowing you the way I do, that's a very low bar.
Yeah. So Tom Smith, our producer that you've been talking to, he's been a big Ranger fan for many years, but we're doing all these podcasts together. Now he just shakes his head, hears the stories.
I could be fooling you. You know what? I won't mention the name, but there's a known coach who used to walk around the paper, and then he disclosed later on that he actually couldn't read. So, which I'm not saying that's a knock. I'm just saying I could be buffaloing everybody too with that briefcase. Of course,
you could have had a bottle of tequila there or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I said, Tommy, when you're that young, though, you think you're smart, but I tell you what, as you get older,
God,
man, it's a learning curve when you leave the hockey world.
Yeah. That's what we're about here.
Oh, totally. That's the thing. This has really been eye-opening for me too. Some of the more stories from people that are telling us like some of the stuff they've been through. A lot of guys have like contemplated suicide or even attempted suicide.
Oh yeah.
Struggles. Let's get into it. Let's get.
Sure. Yeah. Come on. So Tom's going to do a little introduction here, and then we'll get rolling on the show.
All right.
Sounds good.
This is Full Change with Tom Laidlaw.
Hey, Tom, we got a big-time goal scorer on the show today. 402 NHL Hockey League goals. More, probably 375 more than you scored. Came to the Rangers, was on one of the most famous lines in Ranger history with Kelly Kisio and Brian Mullen. Today we have John Ogrodnick, number 25.
Johnny, how are you doing there, brother? Good to see you again.
Doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Very good. You're living back in Detroit, right?
Back in Detroit, Farmington Hills. Yeah, I actually went down to LCA last night and watched a very good hockey game between Winnipeg and the Red Wings. And it was a tough game. I tell you what, Winnipeg's a big, strong hockey club. They played very well defensively.
And you're still playing. We're going to be playing together April 27th in Fraser, Michigan. We're playing an alumni game.
Yes. The game's a little different, Tommy. You know what? When you relied a lot on quickness back then and now you're 30 pounds heavier. And I never was a stick handler, as you know. My stick was shaped like a 7-iron, so I wasn't a puck handler. Makes it a lot tougher out there. So, yeah, it's going to be great.
I know. It's going to be great. Same. I hardly get on the ice anymore. When you don't get on the ice very often, right? It's like when you first go on, like you get the Bambi legs going on there. It's like, geez.
John, are you going to play for both teams, John? Are you going to play half the game for the Rangers and half for the Red Wings?
No, we're going to try and figure that out. We got to see how many players we're going to have on each team. I know we just played the Boston alumni team. We were loaded. We had 21 players on our bench. And Boston had a pretty good squad, so we'll see how the rosters get filled out. You know what? And I've already talked to Tommy about it. So we're going to keep in touch. And if he needs me to make some calls with some of the guys, I'll be more than happy to help out for the Rangers.
We have this great guy, Joe Neville, who put the game together. It's not through either one of the alumni, which is rare. Usually the alumni are putting it on. This Joe Neville, and what's his business partner's name?
It's John Pastor, and John Pastor is a very good friend of mine. Joe Neville is a very good friend of mine, and John Pastor just started the foundation, and he put up a lot of money to get Fly Boston and get the whole game set up. So, he went out on a limb, and he learned a lot of things from the first game. But both John Pastor and Joe Neville works under John Pastor. They did a fantastic job setting up the last game. And Tommy, you've already talked to him. He's a good guy, and he puts a lot of work into it. It's not easy dealing with hockey players. A lot of babysitting, you know what?
Oh, that's the truth or what? I didn't realize how bad it was. Like, we were like that when we played. We gotten worse as we gotten older.
I don't know. You got some guys that still, whine and complain, you know what? But, for the most part, everybody had a great time.
We do.
Remember Dean Wally, obviously. And actually, I talked to him last night in the alumni room. But he was nice enough to put the afterglow party, you would say, after the game at his sports bar on the east side of town. So it was really good. Greg Nienhaus, if you remember him, a fantastic singer. He was our entertainment. Everybody just loved the music that he was singing. So it was a great event.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, the Red Wing alumni is pretty strong, right? So, like, people don't understand, the Rangers alumni is run by the Rangers. They put up all the events and everything. Where the Red Wings are different, right? It's the players themselves that run the alumni, correct?
That is correct, yes. Joey Kosher's the president. We got secretaries. We got Paul McKinnon, who kind of handles our accounting for us. Paul played a little bit with the Washington Capitals. And I believe he played in Winnipeg when they won the Avco Cup or something like that. So it's funny. I always tease him when we have, as Mickey Redden would say, a few Coca-Colas, because back in 78, we happened to beat Peterborough. So we happened to beat Peterborough to win the Memorial Cup. So, you got to still brag about that, even though it's 40.
Well, I was drafted by Peterborough. I went to training camp, and Paul McKinnon was my roommate in training camp. So I haven't seen him.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Then you went home crying from that, right?
I pretty much went home crying. I seriously, Tom's not far from it. I was that little farm boy, and I was never been off the farm. Like, I didn't know, I didn't know how to take a shower. We had a bathtub, but I didn't know how to shower. So, like, this first I think I was 15 years old, went in the Bramley Blues, my junior B team, went in, they had their own locker room. So it's first time, and most times when you're a kid, you just go home and shower. Here they had their own locker room showers. So I went in and showered, and I walked out with soap all over me. And the guys are like, what are you doing? But I didn't want to say anything to them. Like, I'm 15 years old, I don't know how to take a shower. Oh yeah.
Well, you know what? It's funny you said that because I grew up on an Air Force base, and that's all we had was a bathtub for the longest time, and until my dad got stationed to Edmonton. Yeah, it was just simply a bathtub. You're right. Yeah.
Isn't it funny, John? Like this show has been great. Like going back and talking to guys like yourself and telling old stories and everything. And you think to yourself, like, what were we thinking about with some of these stories? Like,
I know. You know, it's funny. You know, go ahead. I'm sorry. Fair away.
No, go ahead. Finish off the story. I want to.
No. You know, it's, and then sometimes I wonder, man, I should have kept a diary. You know, something happened over 14 seasons.
Yeah.
You know, you could have a pretty good book, but you know, obviously you had to be careful what you'd say in the book and stuff like that. So,
isn't that true? Tom and I have joked about that. We should have a show where we just tell everything. Don't hold back at all. Tell stuff. Nobody ever talked to us again after that.
Yeah. I know. It had to be blackballed. Yeah. Uncensored.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun though. We had Dave Soak. Dave Soak. Were you here when Dave Soak was here? I don't think you guys crossed paths.
So we did not cross paths. No.
So he and I roomed together, and we told some old stories. We hadn't seen each other in a few years, so we told stories about like throwing the food on the kitchen floor, diving head first into the food, all this stuff. And we were telling the stories, and I realized I shouldn't talk to the guys before we go on the show because it kind of ruined it because we were dying laughing. Like, did we really do that?
So it's amazing that we looked up to you guys as fans too. Like, what the
Yeah.
Only we knew.
Sure. Well, you could do the other way. Say, okay, that shows how great athletes we really were to survive all the stuff that we did and still be able to play in the National Hockey. That's a positive spin on it.
No, you're maniacs.
Oh. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up actually in, my dad was in the Canadian Air Force. So I was born in Ottawa, but when I was 5, he got stationed at Cold Lake, Alberta. Oh. It's, I believe at the time it was the second largest Air Force base, might still be, but that's about 3 hours northeast of Edmonton. And then when I was 15, my dad put in for a posting over to Edmonton. There was an Air Force base called Nemeo just outside of Edmonton. So I was there for a couple of years. And then ended up going to Vancouver to play for the Westminster Borough. So we're talking growing up, as my wife would say, growing up physically, maybe not mentally. Am I correct or what?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And were you a pretty good player right away when you started as a kid?
Yeah, but you know what, Tommy, you were short. You know what, I was only, you know what, until I was 14, I was 5'5". So I used to play defense. And I remember, you know, it's just a funny story. Believe me, I'm not boasting or anything. They had a big Northern Alberta. They had a big Pee Wee tournament in Fairview, Alberta, and I actually won the best defenseman award. And I can't find that trophy. I don't know what my parents ended up doing with it. They both since passed, but I don't know where it went. So they had to move me up to 4 because it was too small. And then I just sprouted, not quite 6'1" now, but in 15 and 16 I sprouted. And no, you didn't really take. You know, the goal scoring didn't really happen until when I was 15, I broke my leg playing midget hockey. And I was so upset that, you know, because I missed half the season, and I was really hungry the season before.
Right.
For the next season, I should say. And, you know, all of a sudden it just kind of took off and the goals started coming. And you know what it's like. You know, you don't know if you're going to acclimate yourself to the next level, you know, because I remember I was playing Pee Wee hockey and I'm watching the Edmonton Oil Kings. And he had Grant Mulvey and these guys. And, you know, they're freaking huge guys. They're men and stuff like that. And, you know, you end up going to the New West, and Barry Beck was there. You play with Barry Beck.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Brad Maxwell just recently passed, but he was another defenseman. And, you know, I was fortunate to be there to win a couple Memorial Cups. And 77, we beat the Ottawa 67s. And 78 was Peterborough. And I can't remember the Quebec teams, I'm sorry. But anyways, you know, you're playing junior hockey, then you acclimate yourself to that level. And then I remember going to Vancouver Coliseum. They used to let us just watch the Canucks play. And actually, the Rangers were in town. I don't know where you were. Well, you and I are pretty. Yeah, you're just 1 year older than me. But the Rangers were. Nick Foytio was out there, and I'm looking at the Rangers and warming them up. I think Phil Esposito. Actually, the Rangers actually practiced at Queen's Park where we played at New West. And I'm looking at these guys with my mouth wide open. I couldn't be able to believe how big they were. Because even that, I was almost 6'1", but I was only like 175 pounds. And, you know, but then you wonder, you know, and you know what it's like. It's whether the player can acclimate themselves to the next level. And,
there's no access like now with the access to the internet. The young kids can see like in the locker rooms and everything. Like that was the thing for me. I was like, wow, like these guys. I really think that they wear special underwear or something. Like these guys are pro players. Like,
do they take actual showers?
Yeah, do they take a shower? Yeah, or somebody help them take a shower or something. Yeah, so I'm the same way. That was one of the biggest things. I had a conversation with this Braden Schneider, young defenseman with the Rangers, 22-year-old.
Yes,
we're at an event. I said to him, and we talked about that, and he says, yeah, like he was kind of surprised that I brought it up, but it was like you're kind of in awe, like almost too much respect for these older players. So.
No, it's interesting. And you know, another quick story. You know, I used to room with Dale McCord back in the early '80s, and after a couple of years in the league, we're kind of sitting in the room, and I don't know why I said, and he probably thought I was some young cocky guy, and I go, Dale, I said, I think I might be able to score 50 in this league too. And he kind of looked at me, and I'm like, you know what? And it was interesting because the first year I had in 42, I broke my wrist with 16 games to go in the season, and probably should have had the 50 that year. Troy Murray hit me in Chicago. It wasn't even a hard hit. I mean, I just extended my arms to pass the puck, and he hit me, and I looked down, and I saw a bump in my wrist, and I go, that's not good. Went off the ice, and then the next year I was able to get, the 55, and but you know what it's like, Tommy. You know what? You give all that up to win a Stanley Cup. Yeah, we know. I mean, I didn't know. I wasn't experienced at the NHL level, but at junior hockey, it's the same with the NHL. You need all 20 guys going.
Yeah.
One or two players can help out, but you know what? Little mistake here, a little mistake there, and boom, the whole momentum can change. And, when I was at Quebec for 3 months there, it was an exciting time. Couldn't live up there, but the hockey was fun. And we went into overtime, and I let a shot go from the top of the circle, and most of the time I beat them, low stick side and stuff like that. And so anyway, it's just how the momentum goes and stuff like that. So I let a shot go from the top of the circle, and Patrick Waugh just started. First time I met a goaltender did the butterfly, because most of the goaltenders when we played were stand up goaltenders, and I thought I thought it was going in. And, it was a good shot and all that, and he makes a great save, and then all of a sudden, I can't remember how long later, but let's just say 10 minutes later, Mats Naslund goes the other way, takes a slap shot from outside the blue line, and, beats our goaltender between the legs, and boom, the whole momentum changed. And we had a good team, just to refresh your memory. We had the Stashton brothers, and we had Goulet and Hunter, then you had myself and Lafreniere, so we had 3 solid offensive lines.
Sure.
Beat Hartford, but that's probably the closest I came. And Rangers, we made it to the second round a couple times, but we took Montreal 7 that year, and we get by Montreal. Like I said, it was probably one of the best teams I played on when you look at that, the 3 offensive lines we had. So
right. And how many years did you have in Detroit?
8.5 in Detroit, technically 7.5, and I came back in 92, 93, and Brian Murray was the general manager and coach. I only played like 19 games, so 8.5 there, half a season Quebec in spring of 87, 5 years in New York.
Yeah.
But I do, what we tell a friend, best 5 years of our life was when we were in New York. Yeah. We lived in North Stamford, Connecticut, half an hour from Wright Playland, a couple hours away from Lake George, New York, where Betty Hansford and her family was from. And then you got the most exciting city in the world,
I know.
So we had a lot of fun. Like Gretzky said, everybody's got to play in Manhattan or New York. It was a good time.
Yeah, you don't realize that, right? So my first 7 years were here, and then when I got traded to Los Angeles, then you come back, you don't realize how great the Garden is, right? You're in the center of Manhattan, it's on the 5th floor, the buzz in the building, just being in Manhattan, going to a game, it's just, and now like they fixed up the Garden, like going to a playoff game now at Madison Square Garden is just incredible. So 5 years, you love Detroit. You obviously went back to Detroit to settle there too.
Yeah, went back to Detroit, yes. I think we're all concerned about life after hockey and what we're going to do. And, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to really stay up in Quebec. And I was probably very naive, you're 27 years old, But I was just concerned about life after hockey and trying to make connections and all that. And Detroit's, it's a great hockey mecca. I mean, you know what? And what's good about the Red Wings, it's a great sports town. And, people still remember the name afterwards. And it's nice to have a little connection here when you get into the business, get into, work at, life after hockey and stuff like that. But even on the minor league level, the kids and stuff like that, there's a lot of like ice skate Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. And, Brendan Morrison, if you remember him.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he when he retired, he's still in Calgary for about 12 years, and he ended up moving back to or here to Michigan just because, or for the most part, because of his daughters in hockey.
Sure.
There's another guy, Stewart. Gosh, I can't remember his first name, but he played 5 seasons here. Not Mark Stewart.
Anthony Stewart or Chris Stewart?
He played out in San Jose for most of his career.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, Mark Stewart.
Mark. Yeah, defenseman.
Or Brad Stewart.
Brad Stewart, thank you very much. Yeah, Brad Stewart. Yeah. He ended up coming back because he's got now he's moved here because he's got a couple kids that are playing minor hockey. And there's a lot of people that come here and great hockey environment and stuff like that. So
Well, Tom lived there you lived there for how?
Yeah, well, I was retired in L.A., started my agent business, and then there's so much travel in L.A., so we moved to Michigan because, all the college hockey there, the junior hockey and everything. So, yeah, I loved it there, too. Yeah, we're in Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, in that area.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, we're in Burlington Hills, so we're slightly 15 minutes west of you and stuff like that. And, nice area and stuff like that. I did not know that, so.
Yeah, it's great, too. To your point, and you were really good at this. You were one of the few guys back in those days where you really planned for your after hockey career. Most of us were like a bunch of muttheads. They were just playing hockey and we figured it out after the fact. But yourself, Dave Maloney, guys like that were really concentrating on, okay, what am I going to do when the game is done? And you've done a fantastic job like that, really. Again, I hope I say this right, but kind of taking advantage of your name in a very good way for networking too. So, you're smart.
Well, you got to do it. I was nervous about that. But I tell you what, when I got in the business world, I started off raising money for small companies. I did the aggressive side of the business, but I'll be honest with you. At 35, I was very naive with the business world. There's a lot of bad people out there.
Oh, okay, that's not true. Oh, okay, great. I've got a similar business. I do this motivational speaking now, but I've got this post-game strategies where we're raising money, and that's it's very lucrative. Sometimes you get the deals done, but you're dealing with some nasty people, right? Like they're saying they've got things, and we're so used to everybody when we're playing. Everybody's telling us how great we are, doing us favors all the time. I think that's the way the world is. Yeah.
I know. I just trusted everybody, but then you realize a lot of BS out there. Especially when it comes to people bragging about their companies and raising the money and how great they're going to be. I'm like, oh my god.
And the worst is I got into trying to raise money to buy hockey teams, and everybody wants to tell everybody that they're going to buy. Like Tom Laidlaw's chasing me around to buy this hockey team. They're going to the country club saying, "They have no intention." Like somebody said, it's like herding cats, right?
John, I want to ask you, we talked about it earlier, but when you came to the Rangers, you found chemistry with Kelly Kisio and Brian Mullen. Did that happen right away, or was there a process to that?
No, what happened was, and that's a good question. What happened was when I came to New York, I feel really bad. I did not play well for Phil Esposito. Phil's a great guy, and I like him a lot, stuff like that. But for most of my career, I needed training camp and a couple of weeks into the season, and then all of a sudden the timing started coming and whatever. And, Phil would get upset if we lost a preseason game. And, once we lost, and I'm, Tommy, in training camp, I'd go down the wing, take a slap shot, miss it by 10 feet and fall on my face. I was just like that. I was not a shape or anything like that. So I never got my confidence under Phil. And I felt bad, so I struggled. I thought I was in my career there for 2 years. And Roger Nielsen came along and he said, John, I'm going to give you 10 games. And just to follow up, it worked out because we had the right chemistry with Kisio and Mullen and myself, because we just, it was all give and go cycling, and we just read off each other very well. And then we connected. Roger gave me the 10 games. I got my confidence, and then boom. But that's what I needed. It's just a mental thing with me. And, like I said, I do feel bad, but it was funny back then too. Remember Chris Nyland? And, he was, it was my option year. So my nickname was Johnny Option.
That's good. That's good.
Johnny Option, that was pretty good. Yeah. So it was in my final year of my contract and stuff like that. But it got frustrating. You like to tell funny stories and all that. But, at the end, the killer was, I don't know if you guys remember, but Neil Smith was the general manager. And, Kelly Kisio got hurt, and they called up Kevin Miller. And I tell people, and Kevin's out here in Michigan, in this case for the same alumni games. But I tell people, I said, you guys might laugh at this, but Kevin Miller to me was second hand. So, Kevin was setting me up left and right. Oh, we had one of the hottest lines in the league. We were going so well. And even Kelly, who wasn't 100%, and he's a good friend of ours, we still keep in touch with him. He went to Roger Nielsen and said, leave those guys alone. They're playing unbelievable. And, Roger said, what, you're my captain. I owe it to you. But somebody convinced Neil Smith to trade Kevin Miller at the trading deadline. Kelly wasn't 100%. And I want to say, but let's put it this way, after the trading deadline, we didn't win a lot. And I believe we forfeited the President's Trophy. You can check the records on that. I could be off. And then we got beat out in the first round of the playoffs. And what happened was, they just obviously berated Neil Smith in the papers, and he almost lost his job. So what do they do in the summertime? Kisio and Mullen go to the expansion draft to San Jose, and San Jose tries to trade for me. And at that time, they offered Dean Kolstad, a big 6'6" defenseman, who ironically is out here in Michigan. He's done students out here. And Neil basically just came up to me. And later on in the season, also Minnesota needed a left wing because Brian Propp blew his shoulder. And they offered a 4th-round draft pick. And Neil just told me, he said, John, he says, I know he still can get 30 or 40 goals. He said, if I let you go for a 4th round, I'll lose my job. And I'm better off just to keep you in the press box in case somebody gets injured. So it's like Van Beesbroek said, how do you score 72 goals in the league in 2 seasons? And all of a sudden, for a full season, I'm pretty much up in the press box. And that was the killer, just to answer your question. And, which was very frustrating. And then on top of it, and Tommy, you became my agent there at the end. And, yourself with the disclosure salaries, it's a couple of things where you can still play. And, basically, Neil was afraid to let me play. And, but, Tommy, back then, that's when salaries took off, when I had exposure salaries. And when I left New York, my deal I signed was like, 300 up front and 60,000 for 6 years. So I had money coming in left after hockey. So present value was like 460,000. When I left New York, Neil comes up and he said, now I got to pay a 40 goal scorer for $2.5 million. I'm like, what the frig? Does that mean killer sitting in the press box up there, Tommy? Especially when you can still play.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Chapelgee can still play, but he's not going to. Let's say it's a 1st or 2nd round draft pick. Any happening. So
wow, I didn't remember all that.
You were John's agent?
Yes, for a short period of time. Yes, that's why he finally retired. Yeah.
Yeah, he had no choice.
Yeah.
No one else around.
Nobody wanted him.
They wanted you.
It was a mistake I did. I look back, but I was after 2 seasons to be in the press box. When I came to Detroit, I didn't play much either. But Tommy called me up and said the Canadian Olympic team back in 1994 was interested in me. But I said, Tommy, I think I'm done. I said, mentally, after 2 seasons in the press box, you just go squirrely. And, if you're a goal scorer, it's a little different than just going out there and banging and stuff like that.
And you're a proud man, too. I mean, this is a good thing. You're a proud man. You played in that. You were just a player, right? You're well above me.
402 goals. Yeah. 55-goal season.
How many points did you get total?
900 and some. I was in the doghouse, so we all get in the doghouse once in a while. We don't play very much.
Isn't it amazing, right? Where you can be such a good player, and then a different coach, or for whatever reason, all of a sudden you can't. But they tell you can't even play anymore, right? That's it's happened to a few guys we've talked to as well. So your numbers, do you think you're close to being a Hall of Fame player?
No, I don't think so. I mean, again, having a couple of goals last night with Dino Cicerelli. I mean, the guy got 600 goals. And it's tough. I think it's a lot tougher too when you don't win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
But if you don't win a Stanley Cup, you got to put up some really serious numbers and stuff like that. And, just real quick, Jason, and then we'll jump to just one last comment. But I was back in New York doing an alumni event. This is before the virus and all that stuff. And I ran into Barry Watkins, and he remembers all that happened. He goes, John, he says, nowadays, he said, if we're not going to use a player, we won't bury him. We'll try and find him a place to play. I know he wasn't a big fan of Neil Smith. I think they had some words back and forth. But, that's where it was. You know what? It was, like I said, and believe me, that's 25 years ago. But, if you don't get in the doghouse and, that stuff is that, they don't make that trade at the trading deadline. Who knows what would happen, but that's life. You move on and you kind of go from there. But I tell you, it's a different game now, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. I think it's like I loved our game. It's just so different. Everything's the training methods, the rules, the money the players make, the way they train now. It's all the way they eat. And it's funny when you tell stories about like guys going out drinking, and some people that were like, really, you guys really did that? But it was part of the culture. It's actually looked at as that bonding experience, everybody being together and everything.
So, John, you mentioned earlier that you skate Tuesdays and Thursdays every week?
Yes. Yeah, it's great exercise. I played a fence now.
Yeah. There you go.
I give the floor sheet now for not back checking.
Is it men's league or is it with a bunch of alumni guys?
No, it's Lyle Schmer, who runs all the suburban rinks down here. It's a skating on. It's about a mile and a half from my house. And we get some college kids coming out. Like I said, we're going to Brian Morrison starting to skate. It's fun to skate with him and stuff like that. We had Heyduke here. Remember Heyduke from
sure.
Yeah, he was here for a couple of years, at least 1 year, because his son was playing for the USA team. So we rented him. So Heyduke. And he was fun to play with and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. So,
Yeah, clear.
Yeah, time we get some NHL guys here. But a lot of guys, pretty good college guys and stuff like that. And
The guys still get competitive too, don't they? I think when they first get out there, it's like, oh, let's have some fun. But then the game gets close, down the end. Everybody's like they want to win. Joe Neville was telling me about Dino Cicerelli that Joe wants to get the full lineup, like 4 lines, 4 sets of defensemen for this alumni game. And Dino was complaining because Dino only wanted 3 lines. He wanted ice time.
I want to know who the beer leaguer is against the center, Milan Hajduk and John Ogrodnick, 250-goal scorers. And what guy goes to work that day? Like, I'm playing with 250-goal scorers.
But to me, when it's fun. I mean, gangs we ski with, but when we do have an alumni, it's more of an NHL team. We try and get 4 Red Bull alumni guys to show up.
I think what you're saying, John, is that, Tom, you guys are in trouble because these guys have a full team and they're skating.
Yeah, we don't. The guys that we have really don't get on the ice very much. So we played against the Islanders alumni game, and they had a lot of guys like Pierre Turgeon just recently retired too. So like they were playing a Stanley Cup hockey. We were like having fun, joking around and everything. It's like 8-1. We're like, guys, you got to settle down here. That's an alumni.
You got slaughtered in Dallas too.
Yeah, we got slaughtered in Dallas. Yeah, we usually go to the goaltender. They get Mike Fasula works for the Rangers, and he had played a game before. We went to him before the game. He said, "Listen, we'll see you after the game. We're not coming back." And he thought we were just joking around, but it was. The poor guy. We went back. His face was red and everything. So these things going to pass out. So we have a lot of fun. It's a fun time for us. Yeah,
that's what it's about anyway.
Just to follow up with your story, when you talked about playing this when actually it was probably just in their squad game. It was a couple of years ago, and Craig Beanhouse, which I don't mind playing with him. You know what? The guy's talented. He can skate. And again, I let him stick in until he runs out of room. And then he's got to give it up. But one time, everybody stood over by the bench when he had the puck, and he was over by himself.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
So we did it. Yeah. I brought up a memory and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Craig lives right over here. And
he likes the puck quite a bit, does he? He likes to carry it?
He's a hell of an entertainer, though. I tell you what, he's got a great voice. He seems to be an NHL alumni. I think Messier gets him into some gigs and stuff like that.
Right. And isn't Darren McCarty a stand-up comedian now?
Yes, he's doing that. He's got a certain niche going here. Don Cherry. Obviously, we know Don Cherry. Don Cherry would say, bold statements, and he had the flashy sports coats and all that stuff. When he became famous. Darren started doing the same thing. You know what? The other day, I think he had punk ponytails on his head. He's got the thoughts. He dresses differently and stuff like that. He's very outspoken and stuff like that. But you know what? People love that. People don't like the norm. And he's a very popular guy. You know what? He's doing this thing, and his hairdo is funny. Sometimes he has the Iroquois cut, but this time he had the pink his hair. He just dyed it pink.
That's funny. Good for him. Isn't it funny how most hockey players will never break out? When they're players, they'll do the same thing that everybody else does, right? Like you talk the same way, you dress the same way. And then it's like a lot of guys like that after the game is over, now they realize, well, geez, I don't have to do everything that everybody else is doing. I'm going to do something different.
Yeah, he's unique. I remember watching maybe perhaps now a program on the Boston Bruins, and I believe it was about Derek Sanderson, and the guy that was narrating and stuff like that. I believe I'm almost certain he said that Derek Sanderson was more popular than Bobby Orr just because he did this goofy stuff. And people like that. And so Matt is there. Yeah, he'll come out and ski. The sister will come out and ski. This Joey Kosh will come out and.
Does Eddie Mio ski with you still, or does he still play?
Oh, Eddie's still out there, 70 years old, a new hip, and
Oh, wow, 70 years old. Wow, that's cool.
He's a young 70 though. You know what? I don't think it's changed. You know what? He has all his hair. Unlike you and me, he's got all his hair and stuff like that. And I talked to him last night too when he just got back from Colorado. They inducted him in the Hall of Fame at Colorado Springs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So Eddie's. So what Eddie will do is, depending on how the game goes, if he's not getting scored on, he'll stay a little longer. If he's getting a couple on him, he only plays first 10 minutes. And then he gets his rum and coke and he sits on the bench and he's out.
Things have not changed. Things have not changed at all. We used to call him in New York. We called him Potato Head, and he did not like it. He did not like it too much. The famous scene that everybody talks about all the time is that he always wanted to hang out with the big guys like Barry Beck, Ron Duguay, Ron Greschner, and Eddie drove this hatchback car, and they're leaving Rye Playland, and we're all outside. The three big guys. So Beck, I think, gets in to drive. Ron Greschner gets in the passenger seat, and Duguay gets in the back seat, but there's only room for Duguay in the back seat. So Eddie he's sitting in the hatchback with his feet dangling out the back. And we're all watching this. It's his car, and he's dangling out the back, and they just take it off. They're dying laughing.
Yeah, he looks same out with the big guys. He's no kissing. Believe it or not, what? He's actually finally he's starting to mellow a little bit.
Okay.
Because he can go off the edge pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
He's got a temper on him.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I tell you, when he was with the Rangers, he had some really good seasons here. He played some big playoff rounds. Yeah, he's played really well. He's funny.
Well, it's tough when he came to Detroit. He's coming to a team that's not very good.
Yeah.
He got pelted a lot with a lot of shots and stuff like that. So it wasn't easy for him to save some.
Yeah. And what are you doing after the game now? You're raising money for business deals?
Oh, I came to the financial business, but I worked for boutique firms, and a lot of what I did at that time was a lot of aggressive investment. So through the firms I was with, part of my business was just, you raise money and, for publicly traded companies and or privately traded companies. And, it was a pretty good business and it was a pretty good thing going. But Tom, when the last deal blows up, you're the biggest asshole in the world. So I got out of that. I'm with Prudential now. So I went really conservative back in 2016. So for here, it's all insurance, retirement plans and stuff like that. And pretty much work out of I work out of the house and I've got an office and stuff like that. But it's good. You know what? It gives me something to do. It's not like I have to report to an office, not the 5 or anything like that. I just do my thing. If I want to go skate, I go skate. If I want to go play golf, I'll play golf. And bring it in, because at some point I am going to stop. So I do work with another gentleman that's been in the business for about 15 years. He's in his late 30s, so he can assume everything once I'm done and whatever. So,
sure.
So I enjoy it.
What about family? What about kids?
Kids are doing well. Betty Ann is here. You get to an age we're all healthy, which is great. Kelsey Ann, when we were in New York, she was born in 84. So yeah, she was pretty young, but now she's obviously 39, I believe. She's actually up around Lake Placid area.
Oh, very cool.
They bought a nice little, 2,800 square foot house, but they're on 6 acres of land. It's gorgeous up there. We go up there a lot. I really enjoy it. And then our wild child, Brienne, who was born in 90. She's not settling down. She's actually in Scottsdale.
Oh, okay. Love Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Love that part of the country.
Yeah, she enjoys it out there and stuff like that. But
so, okay, let's get into the wild child. What do you mean wild child? So just out partying all the time or what?
Yeah, she's still at, it's, yeah, we'll talk and she goes, Dad, I'm hungover. I can't talk. But she's enjoying life. You know what?
Smart. Just tell her to bring the briefcase with her when she goes out.
Yeah, I know. So, you know what? Yeah, but you know what? They're healthy. They're doing good and stuff like that. And it's great. And we still go to Lake George, New York. Betty Ann's father is 96.
Wow.
Got sharp as a tack. His mother lived to 110. So I always tell Betty Ann she's going to outlive me. There's no question about that. But so we always, in the summertime, we'll spend a few weeks up in Lake George area. We enjoy it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I'm in Greenwich, Connecticut, right next to where I play land. Yep. My divorce to Piper got divorced from her. My 2 sons, one lives in Rye, other one lives in Stanford. So we're all close by.
I mean, your second wife lives here too, right?
Second wife is close by. We all like to stay close. How many years have you been married now?
40.
And it's just one marriage, right?
41. Shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah. I always tell people I'm well trained there.
Yeah. I know how you do it. I joke around because I'd like to know how many years you've been married total. My total years being married, I think, is like 14. So you've had one marriage longer, 3 times longer than my 2 marriages. So
yeah.
So and you know what? So what's funny is I look at it as a positive too, because I've taught my sons how not to do it. So they have fantastic relationships with their girls, and that's all because of me. That I taught them how not to do things.
Reverse psychology.
I heard a line. I think it's okay if I say this. I heard a line, and he's been through a couple of marriages. He goes, "Yeah, my dick was hard, my brain was soft."
Sums up Tom right there.
Oh God! And I tell Tom some stories about these nutty women I'm meeting, and I'm thinking I'm a magnet to these crazy women. And then he looks at me, Tom. There's a common denominator there, and you are the common denominator. So maybe you're looking here. Well, John, it's great to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. I honestly got when you were playing, I really thought there's a guy that's going to be successful after the game. Like he's really preparing for the rest of it. So again, great to see you.
But then you got to be
Great
careful.
seeing you.
They're going to wipe you out in April. You got to start training now, Tom.
Apparently, yeah, we do have to get in shape. Yeah. Maybe I'll just sit in the bench the whole time.
You could be
Cool.
coach.
Cool. There we go.
Craig Patrick's coming in to coach.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me know. Let me know if you want me to make some calls.
Okay.
I've been, I get hold of Bernie Nichols to see if he wants to come down.
That's right, too.
The Ranger.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and John, we'll pump this up on our shows too. We'll keep as it gets closer. We'll start.
Yeah, we'll probably have you back on again with maybe some other guys, Joe Neville too, and the other guy. And the other guy's name that's running it, there's Joe Neville and
Same name as mine, John.
oh, okay, John
John Pastor.
Pastor. He's the pastor.
Next. So, yeah, we call him JP.
Very good. All right, guys. Again, John, thank you very much for coming on the show, and I really am happy you're doing well. Please say hello to your family for you. Your wife is always a wonderful person, so please say hello.
Okay, I look forward to seeing you here in a few months. Okay,
All right,
bye.
John. Take care.
Thanks, John.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And don't sing, Thomas. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't
You
do
think
it.
seriously do you think someone's going to be calling me to do like impersonations? Let's say hear the show. Let's we get like bigger audience.
Listen, fullchangepodcast@gmail.com. Anybody can reach out there if they want to get Tom to come sing at their bar mitzvah
point.
or something.
So we get singing, book writing, motivational speaking, impersonations, comedy,
Yeah, it's a total package.
dancing too. I'm really working on my dancing.
Oh boy.
When it's everybody, if somebody just wants like entertainment, just call me. We'll figure it out.
You just show up and just bring everything. You bring all the heat.
Bring it.
But we had a great episode with John Ogrodnick, former
Johnny O.
brief teammate of yours, right?
Johnny O, yes.
I didn't know you were his agent. for a
I'd
little bit.
forgotten about himself on the show, and he's telling me that. I remember it now, but I forgot because it was right at the end. There really wasn't much I could do for him.
Essentially killed his career.
I would say that. You think about the guys that killed their career, like Brian Berard,
There's one,
his
yep.
career went down.
John Ogrodnick.
John Ogrodnick, Chris Mason, the goaltender, and him.
What's his pitch to you? Or is he like, Tom, there's nobody else who'll take me on?
That's pretty much. I did get a few guys at the end. Got some guys I played against and some guys I played with. And it was really usually at the end of the career, and they were saying, Tom, I don't know what you can do for me, but
Just try to squeeze out another contract. But listen, John admitted he's very humble. I don't recall John. He said he didn't have a shot, wasn't fast, didn't make any plays. But I remember him just being a goal scorer all the time.
he kind of doubt, but I remember him differently than what he was talking. I thought he was more of a dynamic player all around. I thought I do remember the stick though. It was like what do he call it, 6-iron?
7-iron, yeah. I do remember him having great chemistry with Mullen and Kisio. That was a really good line for Rangers. It wasn't a very good team.
Yeah, I remember. I was gone with that too, right?
Yeah, you were.
That. Yeah, because Mullen, I didn't play with Mullen. But now he's a good guy too. And then again, we talked about the show. I was really impressed by him because he really prepared himself for after the game. Most of us did not. Dave Maloney did. We talked about him, and John did really. I'm joking around when I say he carried around a briefcase. He actually may have carried a briefcase around.
No, and listen, he was prepared for his next step. I mean, unless he had tequila in it, like you said. But he
Remind me of the old story when Teddy Sater was coaching, and we were in St. Louis, and the night before the game, and the coach has gone out for dinner. And Willie Huber and John Van Biesberg are at this place, and they're at their dance floor and they're having a couple of drinks. It's the night before a game,
right?
And everybody did it back then.
But that's taboo, though. Really.
Yeah, well, but it's just
by the rules you weren't supposed to. But
no, there really were rules to say you were supposed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, no, we're men, we're adults.
Okay.
And so Teddy Sater was all upset. And I was one of the captains. He comes back to my room, and he's talking to me. Meanwhile, I hit a bottle of Jack Daniels underneath the bed that he couldn't see.
No,
he's yelling at these guys. And then he blew way out of proportion too. And I think he benched the guys the next game.
These freaking coaches. I mean,
yeah, especially at that time, these are men, and they've established. John Van Biesberg especially was not a partier like that, but he would go out with the guys. That was part of the thing. You should go out with the guys at that time, and if you have a couple of drinks.
But these coaches, though, some of them. I mean, ice time is what their power is the ice time. But you don't have to be a dick.
Yeah, I know. But good to see John again. He's a good guy, like a really intelligent guy, like a very thoughtful guy when he talks.
55 goals. Yeah, NHL. That's huge for a left winger.
Yeah, that's. And it's just, I forgot about how his career ended, like with Neil Smith not playing him because he couldn't get enough for him.
Yeah, he parked. Well, I guess with salary cap now, you can't park guys in the press box, but now they did back then.
Yeah, that was on. We had Neil on the show, and I thought he was fantastic. He's a friend of ours too, so I'm not being critical of him. Sure, he was really the kind of the word on him was that he was always very aware of how the media thought about him, right? Fans,
especially in New York.
Yeah, like there was a rumor was that he would like float out a trade rumor to see how the reaction was, but whether you do it.
But there's a lot of guys that do that, right? A lot of guys use the press.
Yeah, they use the press, but I think more guys now, the successful ones, are like, listen, they have to make tough decisions, and not everybody's going to agree with those tough decisions. They're going to get criticized for it. As long as your owner is okay with it, that's the big thing, too.
But also, salary cap changes all of that because then you have,
Yeah, So that is a lot of times when you trade players, it's because of salary cap. So it's really not player scenario. It's just
money.
Get rid of the money.
Yeah, but it sucks that John was parked in the
I forgot all about that. Yeah, man, he had a great career. I remember him. He was one of those guys that when you were going to play against him, like he wasn't that physical player, but you just knew like he's like a Mike Bossy kind of guy.
Can find a way to score.
Yeah.
Well, he did 402 times, which is like Shane Doan, Paul Correa.
Yeah.
They have 400 goals.
Yeah,
He's right up there with those guys.
I guess we talked about the Hall of Fame there. He dismissed it right away. I guess his numbers aren't quite there, and he didn't win a Stanley Cup like he said.
402. Yeah, you know what though? That's more goals than not Bernie Nichols. It's more goals than Rick. No, it's not more than It's more than Brian Propp.
Right.
More than Pierre LaRouche.
Right.
Just a few more
Yeah.
guys we think are great players.
Yeah.
But I think part of what probably hurts him is he was on some bad Red Wing teams.
Yeah, that's true, right? And even with the Rangers at first weren't that great of a team, and he forgot out there too. Yeah,
And it's not his fault. He was just on the teams. He put up the numbers. But like he said, Dino Ciccarelli has 608 goals, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. Now, that could be a personality thing. Maybe he rubs some people the wrong way.
Yeah,
But that's 600 goals in the NHL.
I didn't realize that with Dino.
608.
And he got in some off ice trouble. Not big things, but a couple of things off ice. I think
He did. Didn't he?
wasn't he flashing something?
He showed.
So did we talk about the story there?
We did talk about it, and apparently, like people kept going to his house and like harassing him, and he's. I think he said is. I don't know the whole story, but we'll talk to him in Detroit. But
Like some people were walking by, some women were walking by
I
his
think
house,
that's what it was.
and he opened up the garage door and he signed
I think that's what the story is. Yeah, but
I remember hearing that one. I was like, really? Dino, what are you thinking about that?
But like I said, I remember we'd go to when I was a kid. We couldn't get access to the Rangers because they were in Rye, but Devils had open practice at Toto. We would go, and I remember being like, there's 5 of us in 7th grade. There's like a whole group of us from school just waiting for autographs. Dave Pichette walks by, stark naked. Looks at the kids and he's like, "Hello." Just walks by. We're like, "What the hell is going on here?" You know?
Oh God, I mean, think like we told the story with it was on the Mike Allison show.
Of your sock, hockey sock rock. There you go. They should have changed that video.
That's true too, man. I should do a video like that now.
We'll bring that song back. Do a remake.
We should do a show with me. Yeah, I would do that.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, sitting here, nothing on except the sun.
No, you will use it. Do you think today's players would even get? Because you were just at an event recently with Braden Schneider, right?
Yeah,
and he wouldn't do like these players.
Yeah,
They're not doing anything. Like this.
He's just like a good-looking kid too. Oh
Sure.
man, big, tall kid, good hockey player. I like him a lot. He's good for a 22-year-old. Like sometimes you can really judge a guy by his character. You see him out there. He's no other teammates around. He's mingling with the fans and everything. I come over and said hello. He was very personal with me and everything. Kind of shows the character the guy's got. Like I like him a lot.
Did he know off the bat that you were a player? Or was he?
No, I had to tell. I made sure I told him because
Really? He doesn't know. Oh, this big hulking guy is coming over here in good shape. You just like he thought you were some fan.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To be honest, I didn't even. So when I meet those young guys, I don't even give it an opportunity because it's kind of
right away.
Yeah, because if I don't say something, they're kind of embarrassed that they don't know me.
Sure.
There's really no reason they should know me, but especially like if you saw an old picture, I'm totally different. I got no hair.
I did recently see though a posting where it says it was you with Latrell Sprewell. It says Tom Laidlaw, Ranger legend.
Yeah, I get told that. I didn't know.
Who put that up there? Is that
actually? I think it was Kenny Albert put that up there.
Oh, okay.
And Jackie, we went to our wedding. Took a picture of myself, Nick Fotillo, and Adam Graves and Stefan Matone.
Those are legends.
Yeah, they're legends.
No, listen. You're a legendary Ranger. We talked about this before. I think you're number 91.
No, 87. I believe.
No, I think it was 91.
But what's going to happen now? The next time they do a book, it will be. They'll have to have 200.
Shesterkin, Kreider, Zibanejad,
I don't think Lundqvist was in that book.
Oh boy, Lundqvist. God, Alec Fox. Yeah, you might be out of the top 100. Casey Kasem's going to say, Tom full.
What if it has to be guys that are alive? Maybe some guys will die or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to root for that. I don't think. Look,
that's a little cold.
So if they do the top 111 Rangers of all time, maybe you'll be in that book.
Maybe they just won't do another book. They'll say, listen, the first one's successful.
It was such a great book that we're going to just leave it here.
Yeah.
You're always well, it's like when they did the top 100 NHL players.
Well, you could argue that I was actually better than people thought. Maybe somebody else does a book and I was higher than 87 in their mind. I could be up like a top 50.
So.
Well, it could happen.
Well, when you read the book, I know you're a human being. You went through like, all right, who's ahead of me? You had to, right?
Yeah, I don't think in detail. I mean, I think it was interesting to see who was at the top of the book.
Okay.
But no, I did. Yes, I did. And I must have been. I'd say, well, that might be better.
Well, you know what? Maybe this year we'll write our own book, and we'll go back and do
all the Rangers that have been on Survivor, the top 100.
That's yes. Well, the top 3, really top 2.
How about like any TV show? Anybody that's been on a TV show?
Lots of them on TV shows. Gretzky's been on TV shows.
Greshner's been on.
Brian Leach and James Patrick were in a video for Suicidal Tendencies. There's been a lot of appearances.
Oh, really? Is that right?
Sure. And look at the guys in the movie. Was it This Is 40? You had all those flyers were in the movie.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you had Hartnell and James Van Riemsdyk. I think
Right.
who else was it?
How many people have been on reality shows from the NHL? There's a guy that won, a guy and his brother that won. He used to play for Carolina, and they actually won Amazing Race. I didn't realize that. I was on a radio show and the guy mentioned that to me.
Okay, so there's been a few.
Yeah, myself. But who else though? Like,
I don't know. I'm shocked that you're the only Canadian on Survivor. That's crazy.
First Canadian. Yeah, there was some copyright thing that they weren't allowed to have Canadians on the show for some reason. So he tells a story. Probst tells the story that he called up the people that own the rights to Survivor. I don't know how it worked. And he said, "Can we have a Canadian on the show?" They said, "Oh yeah, sure you can." It was like you always could have.
They just didn't know.
They didn't know.
So the whole time they were just rejecting Canadian people for no reason.
And I think that's probably the big, because I was not a big Survivor fan at the time. Most of the people on the show are real Survivor fans. So I think they knew that, okay, this is the first Canadian we put on the show, and the whole hockey thing helped.
So what did you get paid well for that, or is it just scale?
Yeah, it's scale. It's not much.
Scale is what they pay people for just doing basic appearances.
Yeah, well, it is going when you get voted off. So the winner gets $1 million. I think the second place player gets $100,000, and then it goes down.
So it's like PGA tournament.
Yes. Okay. Totally. And then everybody gets $10,000 to go out there for the reunion.
Okay. So how many people were on the show, on the cast with you?
19 others.
So what does the 14th place finisher get for that?
Not very much.
No.
The girl I was seeing at the time, she was not too happy with me being on the show, and she said, "Okay, so let's get this straight. You're gone for a month and a half for this."
Right. No, but obviously it increases your profile. You do some notoriety. There's a huge Survivor fan club that you know and talk to once in a while.
A lot of gay men that approach me.
No, that's okay.
Call me daddy.
Well, there you go. So you reached out to a whole new community now.
That's true.
You've done.
I do the gay pride parade in the city.
There you go.
I go to the New York City Gay
Hockey Association. Yeah, Chelsea
dinner.
Piers. Yeah, you did that.
Yeah. Brought my heart.
You're a man of all seasons.
Isn't it true?
No, not really, but you are some seasons.
Man of the people.
You were a man of the people. You definitely do well with people.
We should have an award like who's a man of the people.
You give it to yourself. You can put it next to your fake gavel.
Isn't that true? Like some guys, like there's one guy that does a lot of motivational speaking, and I think he calls himself like he's won these Taekwondo championships, but you can create your own Taekwondo championship.
Sure you can.
Anyway, yeah.
You can hold a tournament right here and call yourself the greatest Connecticut champion hockey guy of all time. Or New York, wherever you're. Actually, you could call yourself the mayor of Costco in Portchester.
Making a difference, I call it.
Listen, if anybody likes the show, wants to meet Tom, he's doing appearances at Costco in Portchester once, probably daily or every other day.
If I could go daily, I would go. I love going to Costco, no question. And now they have the fill up your tires with air there.
Well, what else would you fill it up with?
Well, nitrogen.
Okay.
Actually, it is nitrogen. And you don't have to pay anything for that. And I've got older tires on mine, so sometimes the rims get dirty, so it leaks a little bit.
Sure.
So that's always entertaining. And right there is where they have the people are coming in and putting their cans and bottles into the machine to get paid.
Sure.
So it's very entertaining there. A lot of people coming in. Those people that do that, like they get these big bags of empty bottles. They're driving real nice cars too. They're making lots of money on that.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing my stuff in the garbage.
Well, maybe you should change it up a little bit.
I did try to do the recycling thing one time, but it took me forever. I think I made like $2.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be made from that. But I do see the people in the city, they have like the gigantic bags on bicycles, and it's who knows what they're making.
Yeah, and there's a lot of these older ladies that are doing it. And yeah, they're probably supporting the family. So I was there. I'm Garrett. Don't the air, the tire.
Don't knock the hustle.
So then, and of course, there's a pattern. So what you got to do is I go to the car wash where I pay like a monthly fee so I can wash my car.
Costco car wash.
No, it isn't. It's a different Splash. I wasn't too happy with them the other day. They pulled off my door handle. But they handled it very well. They gave me
they handled
the door handle thing very well. And wrote me a check and got it done very quickly.
Didn't you rip off your own mirror too?
I didn't rip it off, okay? It was, I blame the development here. They cut down all the trees, so there's no shade anymore in a lot of places where I park my car. So now the sun's beating down on it. You come out like a real hot day. It's happened before. This little metal plate just falls off.
So you're the only car in history that's been in the sun that lost its mirror.
No, I don't think that's true at all. I think that probably others have done that. Because you think you go to the auto parts store and they sell the parts to.
But wouldn't every car in Florida have the mirror falling off?
I don't think so, Tom.
I think you probably yanked it off in a fit of rage.
No, not true. Although, so there's this little metal plate you've got to glue on to the mirror or to the window. I was being a little bit cocky, which I sometimes.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
no.
I know it's hard to believe. And I put the glue on it, went to put it back on, and just put it there really quickly. I didn't hold it to here. So it falls off. Now, if it was to fall off and just go straight down, it would just fall on the floor.
Right.
It was like a seeing eye piece of metal. It had its own mind. It jumped into the vent for the.
So it like went down like Plinko, like bing bong.
Yeah. No, just one big that just hit the dashboard
directly.
It could have gone like down on the floor where it should have gone. Instead, it jumps like 2 feet the other way into the vent for the
But
defroster.
now you have to get another one.
So now I have to order. It's like $2 off Amazon. So I got a group of three plates.
Oh, so for the next 2 times, you rip the mirror off. You'll have these to replace it.
So,
Nice.
Yeah. So now I've got to go out there. But now I've gotten used to not having the rear view mirror. It's kind of nice. It's like,
It's kind of weird, though. You got to turn around, check your mirrors all the time, look
Well,
behind you.
well, it's just the mirror's on the side. It's like I'm turning around.
Oh, you got
I
blank
like
spots.
The open view more. The mirror's not in the way.
You haven't gotten pulled over yet, though. You
I
might.
don't think you have to have a rear view mirror.
I thought you did.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I guess you'll find out. Let us know. And if you like what you're hearing on this show, please leave us a message, send us an email, like review on Apple. Those are huge for us. If people are listening, here's the call to action. Please go leave us a review.
I get an email. It will do any kind of entertainment you want. So here's a sample right now from Tom Laidlaw. Oh, Canada.
So full change podcast at gmail.com. Apple reviews, like, share, spread around. Thanks for listening and hope you enjoyed the show.
No, this is not very white. All right, grasshoppers. Thank you for listening. We had a fantastic show. We'll see you next time.